speak through. You just switch it on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the official arrival press conference for the Momentum Proteas following their World Cup semi-final stage in New Zealand. Firstly, I'd just like to start off this press conference by saying kia ora, as the New Zealand would say, hello and welcome. As I said, this is the official arrival press conference following the Momentum Proteas exciting World Cup campaign, which ended at the semi-final stage. Thank you to all the media in attendance, as well as those that are attending us virtually. Firstly, I just want to introduce the guests here at the top of the table. Firstly, we've got Cricket South Africa Board Chair, Mr. Lawson Naidu, and then secondly, the Honourable Deputy Minister, Ms. Notawe Mafu. And then as well, we've got the Chief Executive for Cricket South Africa, Mr. Puletsi Moseki, and then Momentum Head of Sponsorship as well, Mr. Carl Bosman. And then the reason why we're all here, the Momentum Proteas players are just in that door, but at the top of the table here, they are represented by Head Coach Hilton Moreng, as well as the Captain Sinelis. And I just want to firstly let me introduce myself as well. My name is Lita Khana. I have the privilege and pleasure of joining this team on their latest journey as the media manager. Just some thoughts that I thought I would share with you guys before we start. Obviously, the Momentum Proteas come off an incredible journey that began almost 10 years ago under the guidance of Coach Hilton, as well as his excellent colleagues in management. With the immense support of Momentum and Cricket South Africa, these ladies are the professionals that you see here today. And due to all that support as well, they've risen to the top echelons of international cricket. Since 2017, after that World Cup, the Momentum Proteas have won multiple tours on one-day international series, home and away, including the last 5 in a row, and to see them ranked now second in the world. With the team performing at the level consistently, it has also seen some of their players rise up the ICC rankings as well, including taking their rightful place in number 1, number 2, number 3, and multiple places in the top 10 as well, and in bowling, batting, and the all-round disciplines, including as well Lizelle Lee next door. She's also the current ICC cricketer, ODI cricketer of the year as well. Heading into this World Cup, obviously the goal was to go and conquer the world. And although they didn't manage to do that this time around, they conquered a lot of South African hearts, as well as the world's hearts, through their courageous and outstanding displays on the field. And this isn't the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is only the turn of the page, and they are here and here to stay. I just ask you guys as well to keep supporting them, keep watching them. And as Momentum would say, all they need is just one more fan and to back them all the way. And I think with that, we'll start with the official proceedings. Firstly, I just want to allow the address by the board chair, Mr. Lawson Naidu, who'll just give us a quick address to the media and all in attendance. Thank you.
Thanks, Lita. Members of the media, it's a wonderful day for us to welcome back the Momentum Proteas from a very successful ICC World Cup in New Zealand. They didn't manage to clear that final hurdle to get into tomorrow's final, but the whole country is extremely proud of the way you've represented South Africa in that World Cup. The determination, the grit on the field of play, winning those close games shows how this team has grown over the years. And we're here to celebrate the Proteas Momentum's women's team. The excitement in the country over the last few days has been enormous. People have been up all night watching your games, not getting any sleep. But it's really been, we've been on that roller coaster journey with you whilst you were away in New Zealand. As Lita said, you've laid a solid foundation over the last few years with magnificent performances, leading to your number 2 ranking in the world as you went into this World Cup. As Cricket South Africa, we know we've made a lot of progress in the women's game over the last few years, seeking to professionalize the game, get more resources and money into the game for the women's game, and for all the way through from grassroots level up. But we recognize that there's an awful lot more to do, and that we must do and that we need to do. And I think this has laid a solid foundation for us to be able to move forward with speed now in order to enhance the women's game in South Africa. You've lifted the profile of women's cricket in South Africa, inspiring young girls and boys to take up the game, but also it's an incredible showcase of what women's sport in general can be globally. And I think that's fantastic. At both the level of Cricket South Africa and the International Cricket Council, the growth of the women's game is a key part of our strategies of growing the game globally. And that is something that we need to focus on and make sure that we achieve that. Finally, I would like to say, you've come back. We've got a year to go before we in South Africa will be hosting the ICC Women's T20 World Cup next year on home soil. So we've got to use this year to make sure that the Proteas are in the best shape possible to win that tournament on home soil next year. Those are just a few remarks I would like to make. We were very, very happy that we've been able to be joined today by the Deputy Minister of Sport, who's taken time out to come and join us to welcome the team back home. So I'd like now to ask Deputy Minister Mafu to say a few words. You can sit there, dear.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawson Naidu, the board chair of Cricket South Africa, to the CEO of the Cricket South Africa, Mr. Pulets Museki, Hilton sitting next to me, the coach, Sunay, and everybody, particularly Momentum. Carol, you know that the girls wouldn't be here without you. And just from the government, first to apologize for the minister that is not here. He said, I must tell you, Sunay, that you and the girls, very soon he will be meeting you to properly congratulate you. But from the government, from the president up down to everybody in government, we are very proud. We are very proud of what you have displayed in New Zealand. We know in particular that you were up against the best teams in the world, the teams that have got all the support in terms of even the corporate sector. You still have a few that are supporting you in the country. Those countries have got a league, you don't have one, but you were able to actually give them a run for their money. And I know that with all the support that we can give you more, you can be able to do the best that you can. And I think for me, the important thing is that South Africa, particularly the private sector and government, must actually put more effort in supporting the women's sport. We have all seen that all the women's teams are doing the best. I'm not trying to cast aspersions to anybody, but that's the truth of the matter. All the women's team are doing the best. Whether you talk Banyana Banyana, whether you talk momentum cricket, whether you talk netball, they are doing the best. Whether you talk hockey, they are there. So we need to put our money where our mouth is as the country. And I know that when we host that T20 next year, Dambi, I know we will be on those stands, and I know that these girls will actually prove us. And thank you so much. You are the ambassadors of this country. Everybody in this country, even those that don't know cricket, we're watching cricket. Even my kids were saying, what time is the match? Because they knew that everybody, we woke up at 3 a.m., at 2 a.m., because nobody wanted to miss it. And that's the beauty of it. Even the media, I must thank the media, because you would wake up watching the news in the morning and they would cover your matches. And that's what we want to see. Media coming to the party, focusing more on women, because they are the best that you can ever get. That's what I can tell you. Thank you so much, girls. All the best. I love you, you know that. And you've done very well. We're still gonna come back as the department. We're not gonna be telling the nosy people here what we're gonna do, but we're still gonna come back to properly, celebrate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Notawe. Lovely words indeed. Just now, the next speaker, some welcome comments by the CSA Chief Executive, Mr. Politsi Moseki. Thank you.
Thank you, Lita. You don't mind me sitting as well like the minister? Okay, cool. Sune Hilton, I think you would have been as humbled as I was with the welcome that you just received out there. For me, it just shows how much the country loves you, how you appreciate it, the amount of support that you had. I sent you a WhatsApp the other day just before the semi-final. I said you had 60 million people behind you, and those 60 million people behind you are still supporting you. I know you went to New Zealand, to collect and fetch that trophy. So you must be gutted by that. But knowing you and your team, how resilient you guys are, you would have taken some serious learnings and lessons. And as the chair just said, we are hosting the world next year. I do know that cup will remain in the country. And with the amount of talent that you guys have shown, the resilience, the fighting spirit, I have no doubt that it will definitely remain here. And we will do everything in our support, together with all our partners, with government. The deputy minister just committed, with our partners Momentum, we'll do everything that you guys need to make sure that you retain that trophy. We are extremely proud. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Brapolitsi. Just before we move on to our next speaker, I see we're a bit ahead of schedule. I would like to just share some facts that emanated from this World Cup from the team. Obviously, the team also with their 5 wins in this tournament, this is their most wins in a single edition of the World Cup. Their only 2 defeats came against the 2 finalists that will be playing tomorrow in Australia, and the defending champions England, obviously in the semi-final. Our top batter there, Laura Wolfart, entered the top 5 in history of the most runs ever scored in a single edition, 433 in 8 matches. As well as the bowling attack of Ayabonga Kaka, Marizanne Kapp, Masabata Klaas, and Shebnem Ismail picked up 40 wickets between them through this tournament, the most by any fast bowling attack in the tournament as well as Ayabonga Kaka notched up 100th ODI wicket in that first game against Bangladesh. Masabata Klaas claimed her 50th wicket against India in ODI. Marizanne Kapp took her first 5-wicket haul against England, the match that we did beat them in. Mignon du Preez played her 150th ODI match for South Africa, while our captain here, Sine Lees, and our opening batter, Lizali, also played their 100th against England in the semi-final in ODI cricket. Numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. And now we'll be moving on to our 4th speaker, the man behind the sponsorship with Momentum in Cricket South Africa. He loves this team very much. I know that personally. I'd like to introduce Mr. Carl Bosman, Momentum Head of Sponsorship and Marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And firstly, all protocol observed. From 17,000 staff members, we've got a hashtag that says she owns the success, and the team really owned their success. So we want to congratulate you, Sune, and the team. You've made all of South Africa proud. And you can see my t-shirt today. I'm saying put women's sport on the map. In 2013, we started with this team. And I also just wanted to say it all happens in a partnership with Cricket South Africa as well. Congratulations to them. And in this journey to success with this team, we have witnessed how this team has grown as people in their preparation, physically, mentally. And I remember not long ago, I started realizing that they now realize they can beat anybody in the world. They moved up the world rankings, and you could see from the round robin phase, they can beat anybody. They were second on the log, and that tells the whole story. That's why they're second in the world right now. And on the day, they can beat anyone. We all know that. So once again, we want to say congratulations. We are saying to more corporates, get involved in women's sport. We are not saying that we've got it perfect, but we're saying is take our example, and you will not be dissatisfied. Hence, we started the hashtag one more fan, because the more fans, the more viewership. The more viewership, the more people like myself look at propositions and we say, but this is attractive for women's sport. They deserve it. We've done some research and we've looked globally. The women deserve more. They're not on the same standard yet from a sponsorship and a payment gap. We've looked at the amount of sponsors involved. Honestly, they deserve more. Look at them. Let's give them a hand.
Great words there, Mr. Carl. Thank you so much. And now we'll be moving on to our main guests, I think, if I can say that, coach and captain. Obviously, we just had a very long flight all the way from New Zealand, crossed a couple of time zones as well. So if they look a bit tired, excuse them. We'll start off firstly with head coach Hilton Moring, just talking us through the experiences at the 2022 Women's Cricket World Cup. Go ahead, coach.
Thank you, Lita. Good evening, ladies and gents, all protocol observed. I think I speak on behalf of every member of the squad, those that were on board and those that couldn't make the team, that were still part of us. The support that each and every member has given us around the country, we felt it when we were there. It was quite a lonely place, especially when you're winning against these teams that you expected to lose. I mean, we left South Africa to have a very successful series against West Indies, and we got to New Zealand. We knew we got each other, and the backing of the 70 million South Africans has just kept us going. I think there's been tough days. I mean, the conditions there were not the most friendliest. The weather's changing. And then also to make sure that each and everyone within the cultures, that diversity that we have in the team, in the squad, to make sure that we can put a smile on each and every South African. Like we said, there's a lot of youngsters that were watching. Like you said, the new supporters that we got along the way. And I mean, we can truly say they were great ambassadors of the country, the way they represented the country and carried themselves. And the cricket they played, yes, for some reason, at times they found the reason or the knack to make it very entertaining, to keep everyone glued till the last ball. At games that some of them we felt as a team is games that we should have actually won very easily, but it shows the different challenges and pressures that you have at World Cups. I mean, for somebody that hasn't been in a World Cup, it's very different, and some of the ladies could feel it. And the way everything went, I think we're very proud of the ladies and the way they went, and we appreciate everything that has been said. And through this, yes, we're still picking ourselves up from the loss. It wasn't the team goal that we wanted. The aim was to get ourselves in the final, because we've been in 4 semi-finals already as a team, and it's very frustrating. Again, it's the second time against a team like England, but we'll come back. Like you said, the resilience will show, dust ourselves off, and then we move forward. But the greatest thing that we can say as a team, the team is maturing, is moving forward, but there's been a lot of milestones and great achievements made, and strides that we've made by the team in the last 3 to 4 years, through the support, the partnership of government, Momentum, Cricket South Africa. They made sure that the women's sports, and we could be those idols, and the youngsters looking up to join cricket can see that they can make a career out of this game. We're super proud of the way they went, and we appreciate everything that each and everyone back home has been doing, especially the media, keeping us on our toes, keeping us honest. We appreciate that. You know, at times being criticized here and there, it helps to make sure that you go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, why are these things happening? So we can get back and make sure that, because at the end of the day, nobody puts on that green and gold jersey to go and not represent the country in the best possible manner. But overall, for us as a team, and arriving now, it was overwhelming. The squad didn't know what to expect. I think we were just told that because we used to, when we get home, we don't get this kind of overwhelming reception that we got. It shows that we're touching lives. And at the end of the day, when we started the journey, like Carol has highlighted, 2013 with Momentum, I think we sat in a room, and what has happened today is exactly what we wanted to achieve one day. You know, women's cricket was not known around the country, and then we also knew that people back, and especially South African supporters, very tough, very unforgiving, and we had to make sure that we become a winning formula, and we can compete amongst the best in the world. And by doing that, that's why that today has happened, and we understand the disappointment, not for us here reaching the final, but it's not without try. Each and everyone in the squad has felt it. We've been together for 84 days, And each and every day we have to push each other to make sure we get there. But at the end of the day, there's a higher power that knows why things don't happen the way we want, but we can plan as much as we can, but we can only control what we can. But the talent has shown that the country is blessed with that. And even when they go around the country playing in different leagues, you see how they represent. But super proud, and we appreciate everything that is done, that you guys have done in supporting the team, and each and everyone that has helped put us together today. A big thank you on behalf of the team. I think Sune will elaborate further on that from a player perspective, but from management, we thank everyone for the opportunity. It has been special.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Coachy. And I know you're a man of modesty. So I'd like to also, extend the thanks to you. Under your leadership, this team has definitely been hashtag always rising. Now we'll move on to Captain Sine Elise, who I think I can speak for the whole room, showed outstanding leadership throughout this World Cup. Sine, can you please just talk us through the acknowledgement of the player support that you received while at the World Cup, as well as the Momentum One More fan campaign? Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I think all of the players and the management are a bit confused. Did we win the World Cup? I'm not sure, but it definitely felt like that. And I think when we stepped onto the plane coming from New Zealand, our spirits were a bit down, obviously, after the loss. Like Coach Hilton said, it wasn't the goal we set for ourselves. We wanted to be in that final, and yes, and create special memories and come back home and make more careers for cricketers and try to make a real difference. But when we stepped out of those doors tonight, we did that without even getting to the final. And for that, we really want to say thank you to each and everybody that's been here, that's been on our journey, Carl and CSA and everybody. It's been fantastic. And although we didn't get to that final and bring the cup home, I think we did so much more. I think we've inspired so many people, and I think that's just evident in all the fans that's been here tonight, and the media coverage, and just everything that's been done. We can't say thank you enough for that, and we really felt it in our 84 days away from home, away from our families, the messages, all the Instagram stories from fans. Every single message we've received has been getting us through this World Cup, and being supporting us and pushing us. So we just want to say thank you so much for that. It's quite tough to be away from home for so long and not see family, and someone like Azelle who just had a baby, to be away from a baby that was just born. It's tough times, but so we've been receiving support, and that's really been pushing us. So thank you so much for that. And sorry we couldn't bring the cup home. And then I also just wanted to talk about the Momentum campaign, One Fan Only. I think it's so important to reach as many people as we can and as many viewers as we can, because at the end of the day, we want to make careers for women's cricket, and we want to put women's cricket on the map and women's sport in general as well. I think there's such a lack of that in South Africa, and I don't understand why, because we've been so successful, like the minister has said, in netball, in hockey, in whatever sport you want to see. So I really hope that this campaign creates awareness, gets more viewers, gets more sponsorships, so that women's sport in South Africa can really grow, because we don't want to fall behind to countries like in Australia, like in England. We really want to compete on a regular basis with them. And the only way we can do that is if we close the gap. And that's been happening. And I have to commend CSA and Momentum for that. And I also do just, plead to other sectors out there and other corporate companies to really put in your support and put your money where your mouth is and help everybody. I think we've shown that we've been successful, and to be honest, I don't know what more we can do. So I think it's just a plea to everyone around the country and even globally, just to back your players, to back your women's cricket players and everyone around the country and around the world as well, because that's the only way we can compete on a regular basis and bring those cups home. That's not been happening, and I think that's the only way we can do it. So this campaign is phenomenal. So thank you for starting it. I think it's really going to change lives. It's going to create more awareness. I think it's already done that. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you again for all the support. We honestly can't say thank you enough.
Thank you so much, Sine. That brings us to the end of the formal proceedings of today's press conference. And I'd like to open up the floor for a Q&A, starting off with our superstars, Sine Lees and head coach Hilton Moring. If we can just pass the mic, SABC Tabiso, are you here? He's outside. Okay, cool. We can start off in there. Gentleman in the back.
Thank you. Thank you. Tsepo Tobani from ENCA. To the coach, hard luck. We were watching you, I mean, unbelievable in the group stages, but unfortunately, as you said, did not get to the final. In terms of going back to that semi-final against England, our wickets fell off too quickly. What do you think needs to happen to improve that department? And also England again. I mean, after this experience, I'm sure you've got plenty of experience after that. Where do we need to improve to next time get into the finals? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think it shows in the group stages that we fixed it. We got it right. We get one over there. And like you said, how do we fix it? It has been our headache for the last 3 years that we always try to fix. If you have been following the team, you'll realize that as far as the betting, those collapses is something that we spoke about, and to get a consistency. When we started doing that, that's why we had the performances that we had to win 5 series in a row, home and away, and we had Lazelle being the ODI Cricketer of the Year. And it shows that through that hard work, that's why we were so confident going into this World Cup, because we felt that we have addressed it. And it's just that it happened in a game that we all felt that even when we went off the field on the day, there's no one that went into the change room and thinking it was not enough runs that we can't chase, because we knew we get 1 or 2 partnerships there, we get ourselves there. But having 2 new batters at the crease is always going to cost you as a team. And I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, you can look at it, and it's like you say, science is the best science. When you speak to players in different corners today, they will let you know that we're very disappointed in that, because we know we're better than that as a team, and we've shown it. And against this very same opposition. So it's just tough that it happened again against England, and it's something that we have to put it right. We have an upcoming series against them that will give us another opportunity at them now to make sure we can win that series. But for this, yes, it's disappointing, it's unacceptable for us as a team because of the standards we set ourselves. And at the end of the day, I think the team on the day gave their best, and it just wasn't on a day. It wasn't our day on the day.
Thank you. Pilar Sande, please go ahead.
Thanks, Lita. Pilar Sande from Supersport. Coach Hilton, I just want to find out, in terms of the gap, in terms of women's cricket, you know, Australia's by far the best women's side in the world. How much do you believe that gap has now closed between yourselves and Australia and England and on some of those sort of bigger nations in world cricket?
Thanks for the question. We actually spoke about it this morning. I think, no, was it yesterday morning before we traveled? Sorry, my apologies. At breakfast, we spoke about it. That when you look at Australia, England, around the world, the resources that they have, the financial muscle that no other country, I think India is coming on board with that now. No other country can actually match them. And for South Africa, Momentum Proteas to be ranked second in the world, it shows what we have, the talent that we have, and the backing that we have with the partnerships that we had, to be able to rank second against teams that got everything at their disposal. It shows the talent and the hard work that has been shown. So the gap is big. We're not going to lie. If I have to put it in years, they 8-10 years ahead of where South Africa is when you look structurally. But it's not something, like I say, it's not, you can't blame the situation when you're playing cricket, because at the end of the day, when bowlers are running at you, they don't care where you come from, what kind of background you have. You're representing your country, the one you had. So it's for some reason we got the players to understand that. Although our challenges are real back home, but on world stage it means nothing when you're playing against them. You need to stand up and actually fight, and they've shown the fight. And like Sunil has highlighted that, yes, we will appreciate any support that comes along the way. Since Momentum came on board, they started with 6 contracts. We now have 15, 16 contracted players. I mean, that you can see the difference already. But the unfortunate part about that is the group of 15, 16 players is pulling away from the country. It makes it even bigger because once you look at England, what they have the 100 now, Australia have got the big bash and they have domestic structures. They have all these international players playing in those leagues. So all their youngsters are exposed to these international players. When they get to a world stage, it's nothing new to them. We have a youngster playing provincial cricket. Now you throw him in a World Cup. Some of them will be lost, shell shocked. They haven't been traveling in that. They haven't played against the best in the world. It can be an intimidating environment. So the challenges are real, but where we are now as a team, we can only control what we can, and we understand the situations that we have in our country, and CSA and what Momentum is trying, giving their all. I mean, they're trying their everything to make sure that we get the best that we can. And with that and the resources we have, we can still manage to be ranked second in the world. It's an outstanding achievement. It's just now to make sure that we get ourselves into the last leg, which is the final.
Thank you, Kochi. Back to Pilasande. Go ahead.
Thanks, Lita. Just on that part, Proteas, I know you sort of relatively new, but you've been in the position for quite a while. Just connected to what Coach Hilton is saying in terms of the gap between the best in the world and South Africa in terms of women's cricket. I know for you, it's still very much new in terms of what the strategy is for CSA going forward, but how much of that, or how much of a large part of that strategy includes women cricket in terms of making sure that it grows simultaneously with the men's brand?
Thanks, Pila. That's actually one of our core objectives. Currently, the draft strategy has about 7 objectives or so. Women's cricket is actually one of them. That's how important it is. Coach Hilton is correct. I mean, the gap between our team and Australia and England is just massive, and I guess it is the nature of the environment. And Kyle spoke about it earlier. We do need corporates to come into the party. Women's sport does get an unfair piece of the pie from the corporate, not even just cricket, but generally speaking, but we can't use that as an excuse. It is something that we take very seriously. Hilton spoke about the 16 contracts. For us, that is quite important. And we are about to start a second tier league for professional women, which will give about 40 contracts. And it will help basically broaden the number of available players. But just to answer it in simple terms, quite key for us.
Thank you, Brapi. Now we'll be moving over to the virtual media in attendance. Over to you, Brasipo, to facilitate on your side.
Thanks, Lita. We have a first question from Gomesh. Gomesh, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations on the successful campaign to the team. I have a couple of questions. First, I want to ask the coach.
Any further questions from the media in attendance? Seppo? We'll wait for that.
Am I allowed to make a comment?
Yes, please go ahead, Carl.
I just wanted to also say that, think about Sydney just before COVID started. I was sitting there that day in the semi-final against Australia. We actually won that game. It was weather that caused us not to go through to that final. And India collapsed in the final, we would have been world champs. So Hilton is so right in saying that they've taken what they've got and they've made the absolute most of it. And on the day, we can beat anybody. That's the fact.
Thank you. Can
I go now?
Just want to find.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead again.
Yeah, so I had a couple of questions. First to coach regarding, the squad is been built over the years. We've been there with the team for a while, and with several players at the peak of their careers. Now with one T20 World Cup and a ODI World Cup in next 3 years coming up, how do you look to build a team, to the next couple of main events that's coming up? And one more to the administrators, anyone, if they could take it, it will be great. Last two T20 World Cups have seen great crowd attendance, and even this ODI World Cup as well. With the next T20 World Cup in South Africa, if they could throw some light on the kind of effort going into making that event success with respect to visibility and bringing crowd to the stadiums.
Yeah, regarding that, now we always we don't lose sight of that. Hence, when you started building a team, you always look at a thing called a succession process, and then you identify players, and hence you can see within the squad, there's a lot of youngsters coming through, and they've been exposed to this level, because the most important thing is to make sure that they can be in a change room with these kind of players, your senior players, so they can play with them, spend time in a change room. So that process has been ongoing since 2016 already, for these youngsters to come to. Yes, they haven't got much game time because of the availability of the senior players, but there's a lot of them that has been identified and earmarked for the next 50 over World Cup. Hence, post this World Cup, now we'll sit down with the selection committee, and we can see how we can plot the way forward for the next 3 to 4 years for the next 50 over World Cup. But there is a process in place.
Thank you, Coach. Following question from the media virtually.
Any question from our online media?
I had one more
Can raise your
question
hand.
that I posed to the administrators. Should I repeat the question?
Yes, please repeat your question.
Yes, so I had asked, the last 3 ICC events have been a grand success with respect to the crowd attendance and visibility of the event. With the next T20 World Cup in South Africa, if they could throw some light on the kind of effort that's been going into building for the tournament.
Thank you, Prapi.
Thank you for the question. Obviously, by the next World Cup next year, we do expect to be able to accommodate 100% of the fans. There is quite a massive campaign that's about to start. It was always supposed to start immediately after the World Cup in New Zealand, so we'll be working with our partners, Momentum, and everyone else within our stakeholders to start really building on that. We want to compete with the numbers that we saw in Australia as an example. I know they've got bigger stadiums, but we definitely do want full houses, So there's a massive campaign that's going to be unfolded over the next few days or so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bapi. Next question, please.
Coach, it doesn't look like we have got any questions from online at this stage.
Thank you, Prasipo. If there are no more questions from the media in attendance, we'll end this right here. Before that, I'll just like to invite someone just to come do the closing remarks as well, please. Can I please have the independent director of CSA board, Ms. Ntambi Ravele, to please come and just give us a nice closing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lita. Is it on? Yes. The young girl in me feels like screaming, but I'm requested here to do the thank yous. I really don't know how to express our feelings as South Africans, especially to the coach and the captain and team management, and also all the players. You guys, you made us proud. You were flying the South African flag high all the time. And I think from ourselves, we think we will treat you as the winners. So don't think about not winning. To us, you are the winners. Thank you so much.
Deputy Minister, thank you so much for being here for the girls. At least, actually, I should say you are the right person to be here. Thank you for welcoming the girls, and we appreciate it, and say thank you to the minister also. Our chairperson, thank you so much, Lawson, for being here, and actually not only being here and driving the agenda of women with the board. To be honest with you guys, I don't want to lie, board members are behind the women's team. Not only the women's team, women's development in cricket. We don't even argue about it. With Pulesi there on the driving seat, we are going. So I think that's why I said I like what he's saying. Carol, thank you so much. To be honest with you, without sponsors, women's sport is not going anywhere. And I would also again ask you, because of you are also in the industry, you do have your network in business, please encourage them to come over to increase our sponsorship so that we can reach out to the young girls in the townships and make sure that those girls also can play cricket and represent their country. Did I forget anyone? I didn't, but the most important, I did say the captain and I started with them. I started with them. The most important people who made us to feel like South Africans today were our supporters at the airport. I think they really make the airport to stop. And actually, I think one thing that you should think about, you guys, is the fact that today you made South Africa to stop and pause and focus on you. And that's what is happening. It's happening now on television. It happened at the airport. So we are proud of you. But also, I think and it's not only with me, I think the Deputy Minister did touch that, the media. To be honest with you, you guys, you really supported the team. I don't remember any day where I feel that you guys are not actually in support of the team. You supported the team throughout, and I hope we are going to keep that momentum and make sure that between now and February, we actually pick up that momentum and get more people to support the women's team. And lastly, our program director. Thank you so much for handling this press conference so well. And thank you also for keeping us up to date when we were in New Zealand. But all in all, I want to thank you all. And if I forgot anyone that I didn't thank, I think our staff in the office who always are behind the team and making sure that everything is up to standard. Thank you so much.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is a lovely note to end it on from Ms. Ravele there, and we'll be moving on to our one-on-one interviews. Thanks for all our guests for attending, as well as coach and captain for managing to join us this evening. Thanks as well for the media in attendance, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.